Hare Krishna. I am Radhika Piyari Devidasi, and today's video is going to be on Garbhadhana. Now, the reason why I decided to make this video because I have got several emails and there have been some local people who also wanted information in regards to that. So in this video, what I'm going to share is the practical ways how you can do the Garbhadhana. Now, Garbhadhana is actually a samskara, a ritualistic process. At the same time, it is a process to trying to beget good progeny, inviting a good soul, because being in the grihastha ashram or the householder life is the duty of the man and woman to try to beget good progeny so that they can also be directed towards God consciousness. So this is all a very spiritual process. Garbhadhana is considered as it's one of the, it's mentioned in the Vedas. There are many different kind of information on that. Basically in this video, I'm going to discuss with all of you what all were the things I did and how you can do these things practically. There is no hard and fast rule that you have to follow exactly what I did. You can also use your own discrimination, and also you may have read or heard other things from other seniors or anything, so anyone, so then you can just follow a little bit from that also. But I'm going to just share my experiences, which is going to be helpful for all of you. So we are going to talk first in terms of pointers. The very first the most important thing for the Garbhadhana is consciousness. So when a man and a woman, they get married, when you're getting married, there is naturally a tendency where you're thinking that of course you have to expand your family. Not right away. Many people do not think about it right away. Many people think about it right away based on the circumstances they face. In order to develop this kind of consciousness that where you are preparing yourself to have the baby, my recommendation is first go through astrological analysis. Now, why I'm saying this, there is a reason. I will give you my life incident and then that will be useful for you. So of course, astrology is a science. It's a science, it's one of the Vedas, which is helping a person to refine their life, and especially it helps those people mostly who are also into God consciousness. So you can use it as a guided tool for yourself. So what happened was, with respect to my own life, I was told, I had shown my chart to some astrologers who were devotees, and they had mentioned to me that I should try to not have the children before like 2019 and try to have it after that. So now what happened was that I had shown two devotees, like one was from Mayapur and then the other, and they mentioned why. It's because I was going through a phase and it could have also delayed things. It was nothing like no problem or anything, but it was just this astrological thing. So anyways, what happened was I decided, okay, fine, I will follow that. But when I came back from India, I had gone to India in 2017 and then I came back to India. I was not thinking that, okay, fine, like I was very patient in my life about it because I already knew there was this kind of timeline and I already knew that what's going to happen in, like, you know, to a certain extent. But there came some point that where we decided, okay, fine, let's just, seems to be a right time. And it was before 2019. We just thought that, okay, fine, let's start developing that consciousness. So we started chanting a lot. Like I and my husband, we both, like I used to do sometimes like 70 rounds, you know, or sometimes I would just cook and I keep on chanting and all that. So this was, I think, around 2017 to 2018. I think it's 2018 beginning. And then what happened exactly was I was trying to kind of go against the karmic thing which I was mentioned that I would go through. But I was just chanting, and then I was chanting a lot and reading. Then every time we would kind of look at the nakshatras, like I had studied at that time a little bit of the nakshatras, and then we would, you know, do the Garbhadhana at that time. So what happened was I tried to go against, and then I just right away hit rock bottom. It was just such a sudden thing that I fell sick. it was, I think, Lord's arrangement in certain ways. So I felt so sick. My iron levels went in between, like, it was 3 or 4 or something. I was completely anemic. I didn't know how this happened. It just completely. Now what happened was that because of that, I couldn't plan on doing it. Like, I couldn't, because I had to first get healthy, right? So this was the reason why I'm encouraging everyone to try to look for astrological analysis, a little bit look into it, and if you come to know that this is the time it is good for your conception, then make your process towards it and develop the consciousness. Try chanting more, and do certain things towards it, and try not to go too much against what your karmic things are, and then after that you can just carry on with the process. So now the next point is health. Very important. Now, as I mentioned to you that how the health of an individual, like, I went very sick. So during that time from 2018, my blood levels were so low, and I was having all different kinds of symptoms, and so I had to recover with my health. So what I did was that I gave myself a break. I tried not to control the situation. I just started taking iron supplements and started eating, like, properly, along with the consciousness thing which I was talking about, and I started eating properly. And it was difficult to eat also because I was so sick and all that. But there's a devotee in Mayapur. If you want details about that devotee, I will give you the link of that person's or phone number or something like that. So what happened was, I got some Ayurvedic, that devotee makes it, the medicines themselves, and it's for iron, like for blood, getting the blood back in the body. It's good, very good. So I actually got some iron for my, like, iron supplements kind of thing, but it was in powder form, and it helped with along with my iron supplements. I was taking that also, which I feel that it helped me to a certain extent. It really helped me. So I was taking that at that time. So I started eating properly also. That was one of the reasons why I decided that, okay, fine, I have to get back on my health properly. Also, one more thing I forgot to mention was that that before you are thinking about conception, try to do a little bit of cleansing of your body, because we eat certain things, and sometimes processed things, and sometimes we eat like too much oily stuff and all that. Now for me, when I went to India in 2017, I went and did Panchakarma. That's one of the very nice devotee, and she also has, I'll actually share with you about the book I followed of hers, and she's a very nice devotee, and I did a Panchakarma of hers, and my husband also did that, and also he did Panchakarma in Mayapur. But the thing is, I did it in a way in 2017, but then when I came back and I tried to, the conception thing, it did not work. So my Panchakarma was like over, and our Panchakarma was over a long time. But there are so many methods you can actually do cleansing process. Now there are in the West, when you cannot go to India. When you are in India, you can easily access a lot of Panchakarma things, like lots of cleansing things. But if you are living in the West, there are many herbal remedies through which you can do a little bit of cleansing. And also there is one very simple thing which I later realized after having my daughter. I realized was I came to know, actually I studied about it. So what I was doing, like for 1 week, I just was on liquids in the sense I was taking all like nice fruit juice, and then I was taking spinach juice and all that. So I think that helped me a lot. It kind of brought me back to the health, because I was having a lot of issues after I mean, not a lot of issues, but yes, I was having, every woman goes through after giving birth. So, and there was something which my mother also had made, laddus, kind of what you call that, panjari something. So that helped me. But yeah, before conception, try to do nice cleansing, and then after that, once you have cleansed, then try to take care of your health. Different methods are there. You can actually also look into yoga, like doing a little bit of Surya Namaskar, pranayam. All these things will help for the overall development, because a woman goes through a lot of vata energy, which is like the air energy, and she needs to control her mind and the way she thinks, because that affects the baby. So this was the second point. Now the third point, eating habits. Now, if you will ask me about the eating habits, I will tell you to eat basically everything in the vegetarian, Vaishnav diet. I'll just share with you a book of that same Dr. Devotee, whose book I followed. So that book is called Conception, a Craftsmanship. You see this? Okay. So I read this book of hers, and in that book also she had given a chart to follow certain things you can. Now I'll just show you. Where did the chart go? Okay, yeah, there it is. This is a big chart she had shared. Okay, so this chart actually gives the monthly things you can actually have. Now my thing is that I was living in the West. I couldn't follow everything out of it. It was not easy for me to get all the things, but whatever I could follow from it, I was following. Now with respect to eating, this Mataji, this devotee, she recommends about having moong soup a lot, and all that, different kind of things are there. So but from my mother's experience, she also mentioned to me that I should try to eat everything during pregnancy, but to a balanced proportion, not going extreme with anything, because anything extreme during pregnancy can affect the child and affect the woman's health also. Ghee is very good to be taken during pregnancy. Every day what I was doing is taking a cup of milk with a little bit of ghee inside it, and mommy used to put some kesar in it, so I would have that. My husband had got from my father-in-law's backyard a big bag of walnut. So now walnut is really very good for the brain development of the child. Okay, and I used to eat a little bit of dry fruits every day. If you soak them, that's good. If you do not soak them, then try to eat limited amount, because dry fruits are hot, very hot. But try to eat everything, like pistachio means pista, cashews, then almonds, all these things. So this will actually help. Why the things has to be taken is because all these things have, like this dry fruits and everything, have folic acid. It helps with the development of the brain and the overall development of the baby's body. Now the reason why I said to eat everything is because like legumes, beans and everything, even though they have a lot of air energy, like vata energy, but still they help in the overall development. I was reading about different benefits, and at that time what I was doing was that I would soak, suppose if I wanted to eat next day rajma, I would soak them, but soak in a way like put them in a nice ceramic bowl, squeeze some lemon juice on top of it, like good amount of water for this much quantity of the legumes or beans. Soak them, put water, squeeze some lemon juice, and then next day after it has been soaked, wash it thoroughly with warm water, hot water, and then I would cook it. So what happens is that in this this is kind of an Ayurvedic way. So you remove all this toxic and it's called phytic acid. That acid you remove it, and that makes the beans like less flatulence, like less gas and all that. So what you can do is when you're cooking those beans, you can add a little bit of hing. Try to use the spices in moderate amount, but do eat all the spices. Now you eat now there are certain things, like some people say not to eat papaya, some people say not to eat have too much turmeric, like no turmeric milk, which is true. What you do is that if you want to have, just eat a little proportion. I would not suggest for first 3 months. Be very very careful, because that's the time you have to take care of, because the baby is like very small, and you have to take care of the baby in a way that you have to be careful that nothing up and down happens. When the entire body is developed in the 3 months, then after that you can increase a little bit, but try to avoid certain things which are recommended not to take in completely. But after 3 months you can actually have, like I ate Karela, which was actually mentioned that Karela is having lot of heat and it can cause contraction, but I ate once in a month. Or then if I had to eat rajma or beans, I used to eat twice in a month or 3 times in a month. Then I used to have drumstick also a little bit. So, and then I used to eat a little bit spicy also. The reason why I was doing all this, because I knew that taking dairy, taking all these different things, when the baby comes out, the baby will not have a certain kind of allergies towards things, because when you eat everything during pregnancy, then at the time when the baby is out, the baby also gets used to it, because in the womb the baby has eaten it and then comes out, and then they will not face those kind of allergy. The reason why many go through allergies also is because they avoid certain things during their pregnancies. Like, I've known certain people, they do not eat too much spice, and like even like moderate amount, and then their child, when they grow up, they cannot handle too much spice. So eat everything, because when what should happen is that when your baby a little bit starts taking grains and all that, it should be easy for the baby, for you to cook the same thing what you're cooking for your household, and that same thing the baby can eat. Now, one recommendation is that try to avoid having too much all purpose during I think in India it is very natural to not have too much all purpose, but in the West it is like people like to eat pizza and all, all these things are there. So if you can try to avoid all purpose during your pregnancy, that will be good, because it kind of causes this blockage during the time of contraction, causes this kind of blockage which can be difficult during giving birth. So try to have mostly like homemade stuff. Even if you want to eat tofu or paneer or anything, just have everything in moderation. Don't try to get too fat during pregnancy. So that's my take on what to eat in pregnancy. Now the other thing is about being active. Now, when I was in my pregnancy, I was doing a lot of catering. Actually, many people did not even come to know that I was pregnant. When I was doing catering, I used to give it to them. Like they would come up, and they did not know, I think, for several months that I was pregnant, even though my belly was seen. But I had somehow I had lost a lot of weight during that time, but my belly was also, even though visible, but they did not make out, because I was doing so much catering during that time. So I was very active. Try to be active, like do your little bit of mopping. Don't do too much strenuous, but I was cooking, I was on my feet whole time. And also I was I would go to the temple. I would do a lot of kirtan, like I would dance in the kirtan. In the sense, I would just dance so much. So I think that's one of the reasons why my baby is like very active also. So just try to be more active. If you are too much stagnant, what will happen is that that can affect your time during the delivery. Like, you won't be able to have easy things. I mean, of course no delivery is easy, but still, if you're active, then you know that how much you have exerted yourself. So sometimes you can also do not do very strenuous ones, like go out for a walk in the nature. If you have the provisions, then go in the nature in a way, remove your chappals. Like I used to do that. I would go under a tree and I would stand there, try to take the earth energy like that, try to be active like that. At home, if you have any treadmill, or if you have any kind of exercise thing, yoga is one of the best. I used to do little bit of like Surya Namaskar thing, and also I used to very gently, but if you do not know, do not have guidance, then please do not do that. I would suggest that do a little bit of pranayam. There is actually in this book of that devotee, she has actually shared, I actually followed that as well, the asana she gives. And I used to be wait, I'll just show you. So she actually shares all the different positions for, so I used to kind of follow this little bit, whatever I was able to, I was doing it. My belly was like bigger than my body weight. It was like very big, so it kind of was not that easy, but I was doing these things. Stretching is very important during pregnancy. So yes, this was the point about being active. So let's take the other point. Now, what to do, what to hear. So I already shared with you the book of that Mataji. What I did was, I used to do a lot of kavachas. So when I went through her chart, she actually mentions the first month to do like Sri Ram Raksha, then second month to do Vishnu Sahasranam, then Hanuman Stotra. So I'll just tell you this very amazing thing. What happened was that I came to know about the glories of Vishnu Sahasranam. So what I started doing was, during my pregnancy, I just started when I started with the Vishnu Sahasranam, I just decided I will do this for full 9 months. And I was hearing it, and I was also reciting it. Many times I was reciting it, many times I would just sit down and I would hear Vishnu Sahasranam properly. And I was doing other kavachas also, like Narsingha Kavach is there. There were some other kavach, like all the kavach which she mentions, and there were some other kavachas I would do. I would also do Om vibrations at that time. So Vishnu Sahasranam, what the thing is, the glories of Vishnu Sahasranam is such that there were some astrological combinations which I had in my chart, and things during my giving birth got a little bit modified, and I experienced that. And my whole pregnancy, I felt like this kind of a different aura because of the Vishnu Sahasranam. So I would recommend anyone who is thinking of pregnancy, they should do everyday Vishnu Sahasranam. And the part what happened was that after doing Vishnu Sahasranam, I actually, after giving birth even, then I decided that every day I will hear it. So even till today, like for 2 years now, it's been almost 2 years after my daughter is born, I still hear Vishnu Sahasranam, because that's how powerful I felt about it. So I do Narsingha Kavach, and there is one more thing, one more Kavach which is called Hari Stotram. I do that daily as well, and then I do Vishnu Sahasranam. And Hanuman, like Hanuman Chalisa is really very powerful. Hanumanji is a very great devotee of Lord Rama, and he protects the devotees, and also he has the benediction that he can protect the child, like from anyone, from evil tendencies, evil things around the person. So doing Hanuman Chalisa is a very, very great thing to do. So you can do that. The other things I did was I also followed this book, Samskara, like for the ritualistic process, any type of yagyas which I did at home, any times of anything, like with respect to what kind of processes I have to do. I actually tried to do this. This is like the book called Samskara. This I got from India actually, and this is very extensive, very, very detailed. So try to follow whatever you can, and do not feel bad if you're not able to follow everything, but try to read this book at least once. It's a very good book. During the time of pregnancy, I also went through a very nice book of Bhakti Vikas Swami, which was like Mothers and Masters. This was a very nice book. I really like this book. It really gave me a very good insight, very good consciousness with respect to how a woman should be during her, her entire consciousness should be and all that. So it really helped me. Then I also went through, this is everything I got from India, which have been very useful for me. So this is called shlokas of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So this I recommend for those ladies who are working. If you are at home, then you can easily just remove Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam and start reading. But those ladies who are in India and they want to get this kind of books, they can always have pocket books. And sometimes you just in the train, just sitting down, just open one of the pages and then just read, and then you read the translation and try to meditate on that. So that is something which is going to be very good for the baby. Try to read it a little louder so the baby can also hear. Then there was this called Chaitanya Ratnamala. So this was all different things from Chaitanya Charitamrita. I was reading a little bit of the verses and like that. And then I had this pocket version of the Bhagavad Gita. I used to always carry it. I used to always read from it. If I go out somewhere, suppose I go for shopping, so I would just open it, because sometimes when you're shopping, sometimes it takes like so many hours, and then my schedule would get affected. Just find time and then just read. Just find time and then just read, and try to help your consciousness like that. And then there was this book. Now I do not know if you can find this book, but this is the book I got from India as well when I was in India. So this is like selected verses from the Vedic scriptures. This book also helped me a lot. I was reading a little bit from here and there. The other books which I read was beside Bhagavad Gita was Srimad Bhagavatam. I would read about Prabhupada Leela Amrit. I was also reading Prabhupada translations and letters. I was doing that. I would hear my Guru Maharaj lectures. I would also hear some devotees, something like, about, I would also read about Prahlad Maharaj. I would also read about Dhruva Maharaj. And then I would also, read Krishna Dharma Prabhu's Mahabharata. I think at that time I was reading one chapter here and there a little bit. Ramayana also had read. I was never very much like, oh, I have to do this one only, or I have to do that one only. No, what I did was I started with Bhagavad Gita, my pregnancy, and I was just reading Bhagavad Gita. Full pregnancy I read Bhagavad Gita. That one thing I kept it very much for myself, and then after that, whatever books I could read, I would just remove one book out and I would just read, remove another book out and I would just read. I was never forcing myself to do only one thing like that. Sometimes I also read pastimes. Sometimes I also heard nice kirtans. I love doing kirtan. So what I would do is that when I was pregnant, I think during Damodar month, I did a lot of kirtan for Lord, and even during regular days I was doing a lot of kirtan, just make the baby musically inclined. It's all given in that conception book of that Mataji, which actually gave me an idea of what all things I can do, and do it in a very very simple manner, in whatever ways I could do it. Okay, so if I have missed any points, and if you want to ask something, you can ask to me about in the comment section about it, then I may remember some more points I did. Now after doing whatever you can with respect to your pregnancy, now what happens is, like, many times the woman is not able to do all the things which has been given in the Garbhadhana. So do not try to control. That's my suggestion. Do not try to control these things. Oh, that Mataji or that other woman was able to do so much. My friend was able to do so much. She had all the facilities. She was staying at home and all that stuff, and she was able to do that. No, it's not like that. The thing is, the main thing about pregnancy is the consciousness. The consciousness with which, if you are too much hankering in your consciousness about what this person was able to do, that person, or criticizing if someone else is doing very great and you are not able to, then all this thing will go in the child. You have to talk to your child a lot. You have to talk to your child that, you know, I'm here for you, I'll take care of you, I'm so happy that you are coming. Even if I have heard about many instances where they have accidental pregnancy, they call it, like they did not want the baby during that time and they had it. So one recommendation to all the ladies, that if you get pregnant, once, even if it is accidental or whatever, if the pregnancy happens, after that, and you are into this devotion life, because this video is for those people who have already the higher consciousness. Otherwise, no one in the outer world really asks much about the Garbhadhana. But this video is specifically for those people who already know about the path of self-realization. So time when you know that you are pregnant, just know that this is the gift of Krishna, and you have to take care. You have to make the baby feel that the baby is wanted in the world. Cannot have regrets like that, or you cannot say that, oh, why are you here, because this goes inside the consciousness of the baby, and the baby actually can feel it. It's such a subtle process, but the baby feels that I'm not needed, and then that comes out. So when the baby is born, then the baby doesn't act very nicely. It's very harsh, or feels always neglected, or cries for attention in a way that, of course, all baby cries for attention, but it will be a very different way you will actually notice. You want always your baby to be happy. Always try to say to your baby that you are wanted, you can, you can be active, like that. And then you will actually, when you will have the baby, your belly big, you will actually notice the baby responding to you, kicking when you're talking like that. So it's a lot of things. Talking to the baby is one of the most important thing. Visualizing in your mind that how the baby will turn out is very important thing. But at the same time, do not try to control these things, because trying to control will, what will do is that controlling nature will go inside the baby also, and this is not good for your consciousness as well, and overall development of the baby. So, like, I wanted to have home birth, but because I think the COVID situation had started, and for me, I'll just give you the details. That what happened was that I decided to wait, and like usually women, they give birth in 38 weeks or 40 weeks or something like that. I waited because my water didn't break or anything, so I think I waited for 42 plus weeks. So Arya, like my daughter, is like almost 10 months old baby. She was in my belly, and I was such a little girl, and my belly was big, but not so big that when she was born, she was almost like over 9 pounds. So Yeah, I think she was over 9. She's very, like, when they saw the baby, like, how are you hiding such a big baby inside your small belly? So she was really squished inside. Anyway, so she was a 42 months baby, 42 weeks baby in my belly, and the water did not break, and then I had to my what happened was the little dilation had started, but the water didn't break, and I could feel it, little bit of, then I went to the hospital, and I was going through like labor pain, contractions were happening, and then they said, oh, it's the dilation has not happened, you have to go back home. And I was just dealing with the pain, like it was a very intense moment. So I think the one thing which I did was, after the 24 hours, then I went in again, and then still didn't happen. I was going on the ball, like there's an exercise ball, I was going on there and trying to have the contraction and like that. So when my contractions became after every like 1 minute or something like that, then I had to rush. And then what they did was, they still said that the dilation, like this dilation should be like around 10 centimeter, so it had not opened up. So one thing was that in the morning, when before going again to the hospital, I had set up a bath, like a pool inside, and I was trying to see that if the dilation will happen. I was in the water, and I did not leave chanting. Actually, many people say that chanting is not happening during the time, but no, during my this labor time, I chanted so much. I think I did not leave my beads from my hand for like 48 hours, that 48 hours, and even after going to the hospital. So when I was in the hospital, then they had to do the artificial contraction, and then slowly the dilation happened. I was just chanting, and Arya was having a skip beat, which I was scared about, and I didn't know what will happen. But then the dilation happened, and we could feel her head, and baby became so big. And what happened was, usually the baby's face is like, the head is like this and the face is like that, but her was turned around, so she was not coming out because of that, because her nose was stuck. So anyway, so I thought that, I think the C-section will happen. This is why I'm saying it's because of the Vishnu Sahasranam we did. I felt that that kind of changed things, even though there was medical intervention, but still things changed, because it was mentioned that I will have a C-section or something like that, but which is not bad. But I'm just saying that at that time I had endured so much. The midwife was like, somehow there was a big doctor there present during that time, and they did not even take me to the operation room, and they just came in and they gave me so many injections so that the pain doesn't happen. And they had to use the forceps and then turn around the baby and then told me to like push as if this is like live air coming out, and did, and Arya came out. So yes, things will not go as how you wanted them to go, but still that you put your efforts and you have given your 100%, and the baby comes out fine. Either it is a normal delivery, or like or C-section someone goes through, whatever it is, the child is the most important thing. You brought a life out, so that's the most important thing. So try not to control too much the situations, just go with the flow. That's what I would say. So now, what are the things you have to expect after having a baby? When I was in India, not married, and I was in India, I had heard many of the ladies complaining about the child. I did so much and the child turned out to be so naughty and this and that. So you have to know that you are a worshipper, or you are a devotee of Krishna. How was Krishna? Krishna was the most naughtiest child, but just see how much pleasure Krishna was giving. So I'm not saying, of course, Krishna is God, of course, but you have to understand that every baby is like that. Kids will be kids, babies will be babies, they will have their own thing, they all go through a phase. So do not expect that, oh, because I did so many things and that, why my baby is being so naughty, why it's like acting so much in this manner and that manner. Yeah, do not think that your baby is too active, or or too much naughty and all that. No, kids will be kids, and they will always act like babies. That's like the most beautiful thing. And the most important thing is that your child is a very good individual, treats knows the values of life. That's what you have to imbibe in the child, and also becomes a good devotee of Krishna. This is a progressing stage for every child. Of course, some children will be like, very quiet from the beginning, and then they will become like completely opposite. Some will become where they are very naughty in the beginning, and they become hurt. So you have to accept these phases, and you do not have to judge the child, because the child, even there is that innocence level, and you have to, they're like sponge, so you have to just help them grow together with you. And whatever happens, you have to know that in the future you came with a set of karma. We all came with a set of karma, and in our set of karma there is a destiny written for us to have that kind of relationship with the child. Child may be very, very nice, but your relationship may not be the same, or the way you wanted your child to be may not be the same. So you have to accept that part. You have to see the child's karma also. Now all these things about how the child will be born and what kind of karma the child will have, it all depends from the time of conception. So that is why doing all this kavachas, inviting a good soul, is very, very important that time and during the time of pregnancy. So I hope I covered all the points, and if I haven't pointed out on certain things which you think is important, then you can write to me in the comment section, and I will actually respond to you there. Or if it is a very, very personal question, then you can email me on my email address, and then I can respond to you. Hopefully, I'm hoping that all the things I have already clarified in a brief thing, in a gist, I have already mentioned. And my request is that this particular channel has a lot of information. I've been sharing about the Mahabharata series on this channel, which is, I think, very useful, especially for someone also thinking about pregnancy. They can hear this. It's a very nice audio series. Then I have some kirtans, and then I have many informative lecture sessions which I have shared from the scriptures. So if you find this channel very informative and others can benefit, then kindly please share it. Please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then please do so, and sharing it to as many people will be very useful. It will be beneficial for me and also for you, and we'll both get Krishna's grace. So thank you so much for watching. Hare Krishna.